Hey, it is Andy with FensePost, and today we're going to look at the Men and their 2020 album, Mercy. Mercy is the Men's 8th album, but it is the 3rd in a row, something they haven't done before with the entirely same lineup. That, I think, sets Mercy a little bit apart from some other albums, which at times have seemed a little discombobulated. Mercy came out in 2020. Like I said, it is their 8th album, and it is the purple vinyl version. Now, I say that, but I need to clarify, because there's actually 2 purple vinyl versions. There's the purple splatter vinyl, which is, if you're familiar with Sacred Bones, they tend to do a highly limited pressing of about 150 to 250, maybe up to 500. That includes a special outer sleeve cover with a stamp, and that is not this. This one is the purple Swirl. The Men have been making music since about 2010. That was when they released their first album, Immaculata. Now, they really kind of came into my sphere shortly after, probably around 2012, 2013, with Open Your Heart and their follow-up to that, New Moon. New Moon was really one of my favorite albums in 2013. Pre-2013, their music was much heavier, much louder, less emotive, and it just, sometimes that music is just really hit or miss for me. New Moon, on the other hand, infused some lighter sounds, still heavy, but they were more melodic, and that did it for me. So they carried on, continued making music, and continuing to kind of flirt back and forth with different kinds of genres. Now, the Men have been really, really good at that over the 8 albums that they've released. But one thing has been relatively consistent, not all the time, but relatively, is that they've mellowed out after those first handful of albums. They've still enjoyed flirting with lots of different types of genres, and Mercy is no different. You hear sounds of artists like, as diverse as it says, Big Star, Tom Petty, The Replacements, Suicide. Throwing Suicide in with Tom Petty? That doesn't seem like it would work. But in this case, it does. It's the Men. They like to blend and merge and kind of create some new sounds. And I think they do that really well on Mercy. Let's take a quick look inside. You have the standard Sacred Bones. I love the Sacred Bones logo, that triangle with the Ouroboros around it. Just so cool. Track list on the back. On the inside, there is a double-sided 12-inch insert, but it's about as minimal as it comes. Almost to the point of like, why didn't they just print it on the back? Now let's take a look at the vinyl itself. So as you can kind of see, it's very subtle on this. You can kind of see it there, how it has that swirl to it, as opposed to being the splatter, which has like the little marks all over the place. And of course, you have the standard Sacred Bones label. So with a band like the Men, you never really know what you're gonna get. So it's extremely unpredictable, which has its ups and downs. Now, I'm gonna do a quick quote from actually the Pitchfork review, because I think it really encompasses a lot of what the Men are. So this is a quote from Pitchfork. I'll include the link in the description, as well as a link over to my blog where you can read my words and hear songs from the album. But Pitchfork quotes, "With each grab bag of a record, it's become clearer that the Men's attraction to aesthetic chaos is motivated by a desire for inner peace. a musical analog to the process of cutting through the noise of modern life. I like that. It really fits. It fits this album, it fits New Moon, heck, it even fits going all the way back to Open Your Heart. So, yes, you never really know what you're gonna get with the Men. You don't know which direction they're gonna take, you don't know what genres they're gonna dip into. You're just not quite sure, but what you can trust is that what they create will be very interesting. And a lot of it will be good. As I'm digging into this record again and again, I'm finding some of the early tracks I just absolutely love. Cool Water, Wading in Dirty Water, kind of a theme there. And then when you flip it over, Call the Doctor, these are really great songs. I like them. They've got a nice little country swagger to them. They've got some solid production. You're hearing that cohesive lineup that has now been a third album. It's starting to mesh together really, really well. While I don't think it quite gets to the height of my favorite, which is still New Moon, it's probably the closest thing that they've released to that yet in terms of just purely how much I personally like it. And of course, as we all know, that's very subjective. Anyways, I'm Andy from the FensePost vinyl and music blog. You can check out links to purchase this album in the description, as well as links over to my music blog where you can dig more into the album, hear songs from it, and all that good stuff. I've got embeds from YouTube, music videos if they have them. Haven't really looked it up yet, and all that other kind of good stuff. Go check it out, and I'll see you next time.